Hey YouTube! Misfits are back. I am still Siaori.
I have continued to be Tai.
So today we're going to talk about a movie that just came out recently. Maybe some of you have seen it.
Aquathor.
Okay, hopefully some of you out there gave it a chance. Obviously we're talking about Aquaman today.
Alright, I'm actually giving it a hard time. It was very entertaining. I liked the whole thing.
Don't mind our shirts. I'm wearing the closest thing I had, which is a Little Mermaid shirt.
I'm wearing the closest thing I had, which is a Thor shirt. It's pretty close. Because they really did lean into what if Aquaman had the same personality as Thor in Thor Ragnarok.
Okay, before we get into all of that, the movie actually was pretty good.
It was entertaining.
So because everyone's like, oh, DC, what are they going to come up with next? But I will say it's a solid second place to Wonder Woman.
It's a little sad that I wasn't bored throughout the entire movie is a huge step up for them. But I wasn't bored through this movie. I was consistently engaged. I really liked the villains. I thought that Jason Momoa gave a pretty good performance. I'm
happy we get to see him in a lead role where he's speaking English. It's nice. Yeah, he's actually a pretty credible actor. He's also super nice in person. I was able to meet him at this past Boston Comic-Con, and he was so nice. And I'm pretty sure he was also a little intoxicated, but that's okay. That's totally okay.
Can you blame him?
Not at all. He is very tall. He is very tall.
Yeah, I thought that he had some really good comedic timing in this movie. There's a lot of lines that were like, he just delivered them really well. So I thought that he was pretty good. He's pretty good as an Aquaman. I didn't think he was too bad in Justice League, but people were like, oh, he was just sort of dull.
Let's be honest. He wasn't what the problem was with Justice League.
The problem was Steppenwolf. Why would you choose that as a villain?
That was one of the main problems with it, but I will not say Aquaman. What was wrong with that movie? There is so much else wrong with that movie. Anywho. No, it was cool learning his backstory, because I'm not gonna lie, I barely know anything about Aquaman except he's everyone's DC's punching bag. Yeah, exactly.
He's the Hawkeye of the Justice League.
That's a fair statement, because you get the blonde hair guy from the TV series, and it's like, look, he's riding a dolphin or he's riding an orca, and I don't know what he's doing. Now we have an actual backstory and build up, and actually shows that he's a badass in his own right. And I love the fact that they brought Nicole Kidman into the DC-verse to be his mom. I love her. Yeah. She doesn't age because she's not of this world.
Yeah, it's really evident because, with his dad, there's clearly some CGI to make him look, 30 years younger. And then with his mom, they did the same CGI, but it's completely unnecessary because we all know what Nicole Kidman looks like.
She doesn't age because she is not of this world.
Actually, the opening sequence where they go into his origin, how he was born, I thought that was really nice.
That was a lovely and sweet love story. I loved it. I said love a lot of times in that sentence. But yeah, no, it's just how he, just his whole little family, even the dog, it was just so, perfect, maybe not for that one fish, but it worked out so well. That's such a good, who wouldn't want to have that story? Be like, oh, this is how my parents met.
Yeah.
My dad found her on a rock in the water, and then she killed his TV, and then they ended up falling in love and having me. I'm like, that's a great love story right there. And then it's sad that she had to leave her, the love of her life.
Spoiler alert, they get
baby.
Back together.
Yeah.
It's very cute at the end.
Little Aquaman was so cute.
Yeah, it was a cute
He's so cute. So yeah, I loved his performance in the movie. And I thought it flowed really well. Like Ty said, you're not bored when you watch it. It keeps you engaged the whole time. I won't lie, there were some bits of other DC movies that were wah, okay, can we get to the next point?
The entirety of Man of Steel.
Not exactly what I was referencing. I actually do think there were some boring moments in Wonder Woman.
Yeah, there were.
Mostly pathetic, but that's just, it's a DC movie, so you can't have a lot of high expectations.
Right.
But anyway, but that being said, this movie isn't perfect. We all know it's not perfect. It definitely had its flaws.
Warner Brothers made it. That's a flaw. Haha.
Oh, surprise! I did not know that William Dafoe was in this movie.
Yes.
And I love that he's playing a good guy, because I feel like he's the token bad guy or villain in everything he's in.
He's just got that face. He plays Jesus and we still think he's a villain.
But
that's actually
worked. It worked. He was such a nice guy. I trained Aquaman because I knew this day would come, and he is 10 times the king. This
Ocean Master.
Ocean Master guy can be. I'm sorry. Yeah, he's their DM. Anyway, but yeah, no, okay, I'm just gonna start off with the other side arc they had going on with Black Manta. Okay, so my issue with that, just that, I think they threw that in intentionally, so maybe you had conflicting feelings about Aquaman from the get-go, because it's like, oh, yeah, I get it, they're bad guys, but you totally could have saved his dad right there, and you chose to let him die. And yeah, we wouldn't have had a revenge story if he hadn't.
It also gives him a bit of a character arc. Like, we see where he is when he starts the movie. He's like, kind of a ruthless and even cruel person. And then, like, by the end of it, when he realizes what he did to this guy, like, he took away his family. And I wanted to comment about this when we watched the movie. We go straight from him not saving Black Manta's dad to him having a good time with his dad. And it's really jarring. Like, it's a fun scene, but like when you know what just came before it, it's really jarring. Like, wow, this is the stuff that kid's never gonna get to do. So
never again.
Right. But they at no point do they paint it like, oh, that's fine, whatever. It happens. No, they make it clear like that was a mistake that Arthur Curry made.
It just happened so early on that you just hit with that that I think was his most interesting part in the whole movie, was that opening sequence with him and his dad. Because later on, and this is where I think the movie kind of flopped a bit, was his scenes when he kept coming back in felt so disjointed that by the end of the movie, and you see him again floating around, it's like, oh yeah, Black Manta was a thing in this movie. I completely forgot about him. He felt so, like, I felt like if you took his scenes out and he wasn't even a character in the movie, it wouldn't have changed anything. You still would have had the whole thing with him and his half-brother and taking control of basically being Ocean Master and being the king and everything. So I thought Black Manta was very not woven into the story very well. Like, in his fight scenes, it was him versus Aquaman while Mera is fighting the other guys that Ocean Master sent after them. And I get, it's actually, that kind of actually worked what they were going. One's fighting one and one's fighting a bunch of other guys. But it just, I don't know, his character, it just seems so half-assed almost. Like, even when he's building his armor, like, he gets armor from Ocean Master. He's spray painting it and changing it and...
Looks really cool.
It's just, I don't know, his character wasn't as tightly woven into the storyline as I wish they had, because I honestly forgot he was in the movie once that fight sequence was over. I completely forgot about his character. And he had such a strong presence in the beginning because Aquaman just let his dad die.
And the fight scene was really cool. I thought it was the coolest fight in the whole movie. Was that one the one with Black Manta and...
Oh yeah, when they're all fighting on the rooftops.
That was a really cool sequence, but then after that, you don't see him until the end credits scene.
And you forget about him! And it's like, I guess he's coming back, and maybe he'll come back.
They're gonna keep using it. Black Manta's such an iconic character. But...
Yeah, I remember him from, like, what is it, the Legion of Doom?
Legion of Doom.
Yeah, I remember him from that, but it's like, he's just so forgettable in the movie. And
I wouldn't go so far as to say that he was forgettable in the movie. It's just that, the last stretch of the film completely ignores him, and I think it kind of does him a disservice. But I mean...
Isn't that like his main arch nemesis?
Yep.
So yeah, it's kind of like what, how Joker is to Batman. You think that's what Black Manta is to Aquaman. You think he would get a decent role in the movie. But I kind of feel like his scenes were like an afterthought almost.
It did kind of feel that way. I mean, it takes a while to get to where Marvel is, where they can do Infinity War and they have like 7 different franchises that they're weaving together, and it all feels so seamless.
Yeah, but that's not even the point. It's the fact this is his main enemy, and I mean, Batman isn't Marvel, and they still were able to do that with him and Joker. I mean, yeah, other bad guys were around, but I mean, they never took the focus off of them, and I feel like Black Panther kind of got shafted.
A little bit.
You can go on about Ocean Master
now. So they...
What is his actual name?
Ocean Master. That's actually his name.
Doesn't he have an actual name? Didn't after
Ordo or something like that.
After the Queen popped him out, she named him something, right?
I think his name is like Ordo or something.
See how rememberable he is?
Well, no, he was a good character. I actually sympathize with him a little bit, especially when they show like the animals getting choked by all of the pollution.
That was a hard scene to watch because it's so real.
Yeah, they did that really well, and yeah, he's a little power hungry, but also he's genuinely grieving for his mother. He's like, you're the reason that our mother was put to death. So, and then at the end,
Yeah, that king, that like her like forced husband, God, he was such a tool. It's like, you know, she didn't want to marry you. She fell in love with someone else, had a baby with someone else. She comes back to protect said child and, you know, love her, and you make her bury you a child and you throw her into a trench. It's like, oh my God, you had issues, sir.
But yeah, I thought Ocean Master was well done. Actually, I really like Patrick Wilson. I've been looking forward to him taking another iconic role. So
He played his role well, though I do think killing the King of the Fishermen was an overreaction.
Definitely.
Right in front of his daughter,
Yeah.
and then you got this poor kid that has to take over, doesn't know what she's doing.
Right.
That's when I was like, oh, you suck.
Yeah.
Not to mention he staged the whole submarine attacking them underwater and
But
getting
then-
everybody on board with that war that I also think was kind of unnecessary.
yeah, it was a little much. But as Mira says, like, you didn't. When she's talking to her dad, played by Dolph Lundgren, I didn't know he was going to be in this movie. She says, "You knew that was staged, right? You're not an idiot. You just wanted an excuse to go to war." And he's like, "Yeah, pretty much." So we were calling him King Triton. Dolph Lundgren.
I mean, Mira kind of
Mira
looks
looks
just
exactly
like
like
Ariel. I mean, come on now, red hair. Still love her. Absolutely
Yeah,
loved her
she-
role. I like
Kind of steals the movie a little. She feels like the more
her
dynamic
power.
character.
Her power is so cool. How she was able to kind of like, I'm gonna say it, waterbend pretty much when she helped Aquaman save his dad after that tidal wave knocked the truck over and almost killed him. I like that she was like, hey, I don't really like land dwellers that much, but I need Aquaman on our side. And hey, that's his dad. I'm not gonna let him die. So.
Yeah. It was a good way to get him on her side.
Okay, I am going to bring up just something that I saw throughout the entire movie watching it was I felt like we were kind of watching a version of Black Panther almost. There were a lot of similarities between both movies where it's like, okay, the only way we're going to get what we need is if we go to war. And that was a huge plot point in both movies. And of course you have the half-sibling thing where it's like, hey, well, granted with Killmonger and T'Challa, they were cousins, yeah. But they're still, like, you know, they were still, like, they dueled.
There's a
for
right
the
of
throne.
combat.
There's an act, I mean, that's exactly the, so I thought that was, I couldn't unsee that.
It kind of feels like, what if Killmonger had been crowned king and then Black Panther was the one who tried to usurp? It was the impression that I got.
Pretty much, but it was very similar in that respect. It did feel that there were a lot of other movies thrown in to make Aquaman. I mean, we were all like, hey, look, we have Black Panther, we have Little Mermaid, we have all these other movies. I mean, granted, yeah, it's just, is that what Mira looks like in the comics?
Pretty much. She's still a redhead. It's pretty close.
Okay, because like I said, I don't know comics very well. I will say the duel scene, like the fight scene between the two brothers, that scene was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a good sequence. The whole Ring of Fire thing. People were cheering for Ocean Master. It was fun. I enjoyed it. Which is pretty much my feelings on the entire movie. It was fun and I enjoyed it. My main problem was that it needed to be a little bit more polished. There weren't enough moments that jump out at you that I would be like, oh, I need to see that movie again. I want to rewatch that scene. It was mostly just, yeah, it was entertaining, but that was it.
I did like the scene where he is trying to reclaim, like people like to call it King Triton's actual Triton, that main King's Gold Triton that's being kept by that Kraken on steroids.
The sea monster.
I referred to her as Ursula after she got shish kebab. That's what I was calling it when we watched the movie. But yeah, I kind of liked that we didn't get like a ridiculously drawn out fight scene just to have it end with him using his powers. Like, hey, I can communicate with you. I like that we didn't have that. Like, yeah, there was a little bit, but it stopped right away. And I kind of like that you didn't see what this creature looked like until like the end fight where they had to stop Ocean Master's war. Like, that was cool because that thing just popped out of nowhere, and I'm like,
it made her scarier, I thought.
Damn, that I don't want to tango with that thing, and I'm on its side. I don't even care what side I'm on. I'm on that thing's side. But that was cool. I also like that. I actually like that it was female. I don't know if that was supposed to be intentional, but I like that it was a female.
It doesn't really make a difference one way or another, so why not?
So I thought that made it more interesting that way. But yeah, that was probably one of my favorite parts in the movie, is that whole dialogue between those two. Because, you know, this is a creature that's known for being, like, you know, it'll just tear you to shreds if you go near it. And she's actually highly intelligent the way she speaks, and she doesn't get to do that because nobody can understand what she's saying. So it's cool. It's like, okay, so you're actually pretty worthy. You know what I'm saying. I'll give you this trident, and I will help you stop this one guy from destroying all of these nations and everything like that. So I don't know. That thing might actually be my favorite character.
Fair.
The thing was also, I actually liked the way it looked. Like, I didn't think it was over the top. Like, I didn't like, and I'm all about like, oh, that's super CG. Even if it was, it still worked. I don't know what it was about that creature. It was just really freaking cool.
I hope you enjoyed our latest chapter on the Book of the Internet.
Keep us bookmarked by liking our videos, subscribing to our channel, and following us on Facebook.
And we will see you in the next chapter.